Hello and welcome to Iron Stream. Today I'm here with Doobz and we're going to be doing our Premier League teams of the season. So Doobz, if you want to get your screen
Yep,
starting and we'll take a look at your team.
let's go.
Anytime today.
Okay, right. So here's my team of the season. Let me start off here with Nick Pope. So I think Nick Pope is a fantastic keeper. He's 6'7". He's tall. The way he gets down with his feet is unbelievable. And I reckon actually, if you had the top 8 saves made this season in the Premier League, Nick Pope would be about 5 of them. Because some of the saves he makes are just fantastic. People talk about his distribution not being very good, but who cares? You know, he plays for
I
Burnley.
think distribution, they tend to overdo distribution with goalkeepers. It's not really that important. As long as you're making good saves, that's what a goalkeeper is there to do.
That's right.
So,
He's a very good keeper. I actually think top 5 keepers this season would be Edison, Allison, Patricio, Dean Henderson, and Nick Pope, of course. But Nick Pope just edges it for me. And he almost won the Golden Glove as well. Not quite, but he
yeah,
almost,
right. Next
he
player.
almost got it. Yeah, right back. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think he's probably the best right back in the world. Sometimes people say that he has defensive fragilities, but I don't think I've ever seen him being exposed this season yet. Well, I say yeah, it's finished. But yeah, he's really good going forward. His passing crosses out as well. Really.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the only people that actually criticising Trent Alexander-Arnold at the moment are the people who are just obsessed with hating Liverpool, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, he is the best fullback in the world at the moment. No question about it. So.
Well, they won't like my defence because I've got 3 Liverpool defenders. I probably spoiled a little bit there, but never mind.
Yeah,
right,
I feel like our teams could be quite similar.
I think most people have the same 3 defenders in their team. But we're going on that. Virgil van Dijk I think he's probably the best centre back in the world as well. He's a couple of weeks ago he put a foot wrong against Arsenal. He might have, in a loss to Watford, he might have done something wrong. But apart from that, he's flawless. I mean, he's perfect defender, really. He's big, he's strong. You can't get the ball off him. He's composed, can score goals from set pieces. Fantastic. I'm not sure who's not going to have him in their team. Right, next up, we have. There you go. Right.
I think we've got the same back line.
James Darkowski. The fact that I have 2 Burnley players in my team says a lot about where they've come. I mean, they finished 10th this season. Sean Dyche has to be up for manager of the season again. But this isn't about Sean Dyche, it's about Tarkowski. And funnily enough, I don't think he'd get in my England squad. But this season, he's just been fantastic. Everything he does is just...
Wait, hang on. So you're saying he's not going to get in your England squad, but he gets in your team of the season?
Well, he's tried it with England before and it hasn't worked.
And he wasn't as good then, was he?
No, but I just think he's not the right player for England. I mean, you could say the same about Nick Pope, but...
That's ridiculous. You can't put a player in your team of the season and then say they're not good enough for England. I mean, who are you going to have instead?
Well, I think he's good enough for England, but I wouldn't choose him.
Okay, so tell me, who are your 2 or 3 centre backs going to be for England?
I think Joe Gomez he's really good.
So why is he not in your team of the season?
Well, because Tarkowski's had a better season. He's been
so why wouldn't you play Tarkowski?
That's just my opinion. I wouldn't have him for England anyway. Right, left back Andy Robertson. I mean, this was an easy one. Who else is there at left back? There's just no one else, is there? I mean, you could say perhaps Azpilicueta, but he's not even a left back. He's a right back.
Well, you got 1 or 2. You got Ben Chilwell. You got Johnny for Wolves, but
I did actually think.
I don't think they're too close to Robertson.
Chilwell's not. He hasn't been great, but yeah, he's surprised package as well. came from Scotland, and then he got down here, did brilliantly. Okay, shall we move on then to the midfield? So going up the pitch a bit, Kevin De Bruyne. So I think this guy's the second best player in the world. And I don't think he should just be considered for player of the season. I think of all time in the Premier League, he has to be considered to be one of the best midfielders we've seen, because everything, his passing and vision, the way he sees the game is phenomenal. And he's a big part of Man City's team. And they didn't do brilliantly this season. They still did all right. They could still win the Champions League. But yeah, I can't see how he's not going on anyone's team.
Okay, next player.
Declan Rice.
You are joking me. You did not. You put a West Ham player in your team of the season.
Yeah, I don't think it matters what the team they're playing for. This isn't team of the season. This is Wales team of the season. But
no, here's the thing. Yeah, okay, Rice. He's had a good season. I'll give it to him, and he is a great defensive midfielder. But team of the season, you've got 11 players. You can't be putting a West Ham player in your team of the season. Like, I don't have any Tottenham players in my team of the season.
Yeah, I think you're right to do that because none of their players have stood out, but Rice has stood out. I think he's the best player.
A lot higher than West Ham did.
I think he's the best player in his holding midfield position in the Premier League. I mean, Rodri, I don't think so. Fabinho is a shout, to be fair. Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, Fabinho, he won the league.
Yeah, but winning the league doesn't make you a better player than anyone else. I mean, Adam Lallana won the Premier League. He's not in my team this season.
Yeah, how many starts did Adam Lallana get?
But yeah, I suppose Ndidi is actually a very good player for Leicester City. But the fact that I watch Rice every week makes it more of a case for me to put him in there. Because he never drops below 8 out of 10.
I've watched this player, therefore I'm going to put him in team of the week. But let's say, what if I hadn't watched Kevin De Bruyne play? So I'm not going to put him in my team of the season. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Every week, and he does not drop below 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 every week. And he's top of the league for tackles won and all this kind of stuff, interceptions. He's excellent, and he is England's best holding midfielder. So yeah, unlike Tarkowski, he is actually getting my squad. And the passing as well. Both feet passing forward. Rice has developed well this season.
Next player.
Yeah. João Moutinho, another perhaps controversial shout.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people bang on about Ruben Neves, but whenever I'm watching Wolves, Coutinho is their best player.
No, to be fair, they did previously. Like, who's gone on about Ruben Neves this season?
Well,
the only one's talking about it.
Yeah, I think Ruben Neves hasn't been.
It's all about Adama Traore and Raul Jimenez.
Yeah. But Moutinho still doesn't get the credit that I think he deserves. And the way he sees it, he just sees it so slowly, and he can just pick out a pass that most players in world football can't see. And he's got a football radar where he knows everything that's around him and stuff. And he's a big part of the Wolves team and their success because they're doing very well. Yeah, right. I'm playing a diamond in midfield, actually. So my attacking midfielder, number 10, Bruno Fernandes. Now, this guy's completely changed.
Technically, I think you pronounce it Bruno Fernandes or something.
Yeah, well, I'm saying Fernandes. I am English.
Yeah, bit of a weird one.
Yeah, but yeah, when he came in, you could clearly see the difference between Man United before Fernandes and after, whilst Fernandes is playing. And the way he links up the play with Martial and Rashford and all these kind of Pogba, Greenwood as well. Really good player. And in terms of impact, if you're putting impact into this, then he has to be probably one of the big players like that. I mean, what players have had the impact that he's had this season? Not many. And as well, Man United, they've got the fear factor back. They didn't have the fear factor for, you could just go to Old Trafford and you wouldn't be bothered by it. But now, you go there and you're actually scared of playing Man United again. West Ham got a draw there, actually.
I mean, they're a very good team now. I wouldn't say scared of going there. But
I think they are. They're fast, they're direct, they're powerful. I think they are quite scary stuff. Fernandez is a big part of it. Not just his penalties, by the way. Anyway, right.
yeah,
Two
right. Moving
strikers.
on.
First of all, Jamie Vardy, of course, has to be Jamie Vardy. But it's not just because of his golden boot. Because I don't think without his goals for Leicester, that Leicester wouldn't be even near the top four. I mean, who else they got? Iheanacho, but it doesn't really matter because Vardy, he's been fantastic. The goals he scores are really good. Great poacher, great finisher, and he's retired from England. And that is a reason why he wouldn't be a the team because he doesn't actually want to be. So that is a reason. But yeah. So
Final player,
Raul Jimenez. So another Wolves guy. So two Wolves players. And he just gets in over Danny Ings. They've both been terrific, but Jimenez is the better player in my opinion. He's proved that this season how good he is. He's like most goals in the Premier League for Wolves or something like that. But I won't say about Jimenez versus Ings. I just think Jimenez's awareness and his understanding of his teammates like Neves and Moutinho behind him, Traore and Jota, great partnership between those two. The fullbacks, the wing-backs, even Johnny and Doherty on the other side. He's a great player. And Danny Ings was unlucky not to get into it, actually. I think it was very close. Another shout out to Martial. He could have got in my team, but I just had to put Raul Jimenez in there.
On that note of Martial, I think we'll take a look at my team now. So if you want to stop sharing, and I'll pull mine up. So, okay, so got the team there. I'll click through them one by one just so we can focus on each player. So, starting with Nick Pope, don't think it's much of a surprise. Edison, the only player who actually did better than him in terms of clean sheets, but he got 15 clean sheets. Yeah. And I think it's a real positive for England as a national team because before we had Jordan Pickford, and I think Jordan Pickford, he just got picked each week because he was Jordan. Well, I say each week. England don't play each week. But Pickford just keeps getting picked because he's Jordan Pickford and there's not many other good options. And I think the same thing happened with Joe Hart before him, whereas now you've got Pope, who's a great goalkeeper. You've got Dean Henderson, who wouldn't be far off this team of the season. So I think there's some real positives in there for the England national team.
Completely agree.
No surprises with the right-back choice. I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold, best fullback in the world right now. He's still very young. He got 13 assists, 18 big chances created, and 4 goals. He can take free kicks. He's just a brilliant player, really.
If you think he's 21 years old now, what's he going to be like when he's 28? This guy, he could be one of the greatest players of all time. I'm really looking forward to see his career develop.
Yeah. Could get a move to a real club one day, maybe. Okay, moving on to the next player. It is another Liverpool player, Virgil van Dijk. No surprises, really. I mean, he's one of the best centre-backs around. This Liverpool team, as much as I don't like Liverpool, they've had a brilliant season, won the league easily. So no surprises that Van Dijk's in there. And he did get 5 goals as well. I mean, I know goal scoring isn't exactly the big thing about a centre-back, it's their defending. But I think 5 goals for a centre-back, that's not bad. So
it's important to be a threat from set pieces for any side. If you have that, it's a completely different asset. So, yeah. And next player as well, Tarkowski, very dangerous from set pieces.
Yeah, so Tarkowski, I mean, I was thinking, do I include a Wolves defender? Do I include a Sheffield United defender? But I think Tarkowski, he's just had a very good season. Another positive for England. I know you said you're going to put him in your team this season, but you weren't going to play him for England. I would think that he would be in the starting 11 for England as it stands. Like, I think basing the fact that he shouldn't be playing for England because of a few performances quite a while ago, I don't think that's really a fair statement because this has probably been his best season that he has played. So
I just don't think he's a right player for England. There are well, to be fair, there aren't many others. But yeah, he's had a great season. He deserves his place.
Okay, well, we'll agree to disagree on that one. Andy Robertson. I think Robertson has been overshadowed a bit this season by the fact that Trent Alexander-Arnold has been so good. But he's got 12 assists and he's a great left back. So really, like I say earlier, you've got the likes of Chilwell, you've got Johnny, but I don't think any of them are really that close to Robertson at the moment. I think he's definitely the best left back in the Premier League. And then another player slightly overshadowed a bit. Now, I think there's been a lot of talk about Sadio Mane this season. And of course, seeing that he has made my team of the season. However, I think Salah is still a better player than Mane. And I think he's had a better season than Mane. Because he's got 19 goals, he's got 10 assists. Those stats, both goals and assist stats, they're better than Mane's. Not trying to put Mane down or anything, but I do feel like because Salah, a couple of seasons ago, he had an absolutely brilliant season. In fact, it's probably a brilliant season the past 2 seasons. And because he's already had brilliant seasons, I feel like he gets a bit underappreciated. Whereas actually looking at it, he's had another brilliant season. Just because it might not quite have been as good as the previous seasons doesn't mean suddenly, he's not as good as Mane anymore. So that's my thought. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then, although City didn't win the league this season, my player of the season, definitely Kevin De Bruyne. He's got 20 assists this season. 20 assists in one season in the Premier League. That's mad. And 13 goals, 33 big chances created. He's the heart and soul of the City team. And with David Silva gone for next season, they're definitely going to be relying on
Phil Foden. Phil Foden could be a good. Well, he is a good player.
Yeah, Phil Foden, he could come through. He looks a promising young player. However, I think at the moment, De Bruyne, he's still the main man at City. And then next one up, however you pronounce his surname, Fernandez, Bruno, I'll just call him there. He's only come into the season in January, and he's come from Sporting in Portugal, who, let's face it, they're not a world-class side. And yet he has been absolutely brilliant. He's got 8 goals. Half of them were penalties, but, someone's got to score them. 7 assists. He's only been in 14 appearances. He's not lost a game yet. So, he's really come in and completely transformed Man United. But one of the annoying things about that is that there were talks about how Tottenham might be able to sign him, but Levy didn't want to pay the money. So instead, we got a different player with that surname. We got Jedson Fernandes, who he's kind of been awful. Yeah.
I want to mention, it's a very attacking side you've got here. You've got Fernandes and De Bruyne in central midfield.
I was thinking, what defensive midfield type players do I actually put in this team? But then I thought, okay, 4-4-2. It's not really the best formation. It's not really the formation that I would go for. However, I've kind of just done it to fit in the players that I want to be in this team.
Yeah, that's why Rice got into my team, because there's no one else in holding midfield that is better than him in the league for me. So, anyway.
I did kind of talk him down a bit before, but that was more trying to talk up Salah. Because, Mane, he's just gone and won the league. Now, actually, what I found interesting is he's got 18 goals and 7 assists this season. That's actually a few less goals than last season. I think he scored 22 goals last season, but he only got 1 assist. So I think he's become a much more creative player this season. But Liverpool, they don't exactly have a problem scoring goals. So, I think he's had a great season. He's now a creative player as well as a goal scorer. So, team of the season, it's not really in doubt. And then I was actually tempted to put in Ings over Vardy. But, I don't think that would have been a fair decision because even though I feel like at times Vardy does go missing a bit, like sometimes he just goes streaks without scoring any goals. But he is the Premier League's top scorer, got a few assists as well. So, yeah, I think Vardy definitely belongs in this team. And he is like 33 as well. So, still keeping it up when he's getting on a bit. So,
if he was available for England, he would be in my England Maybe not 11, but he'd definitely be in my squad.
Yeah. And then the final player. Now, I was actually, because I was thinking, do I include Raheem Sterling in this team, considering he's had such a great season? However, it was interesting to look at because Martial has 17 goals and 6 assists this season, being a huge threat, especially near the end of the season. But Sterling, he got 10 assists last season in the league. Do you know how many assists he got in the league this season?
I don't actually know.
He got 1. So even though he scored 20 goals, I think you imagine Sterling being, well, I don't know, he's maybe not the most creative player, but you do expect him to get a few more than that. And I think even though Sterling maybe has been a better goal scorer this season, I think Martial overall, at the moment, I just think he's, this season, he's just done a bit better all round, whereas Sterling's been a bit more of a goal scorer.
I agree.
Although having said that, I do think with City, they don't really have, well, when Aguero gets injured, which seems to be quite a lot, Gabriel Jesus, I mean, he's had more big chances missed than he's had goals. So I do think City do need a goal scorer. And okay, well, Sterling's scoring the majority, so credit to him there. But I would say Martial just beats him to this team. So I'm going to stop my sharing now. So we did have quite similar defences, well, identical defences.
Yeah.
Bit of differentiation in the midfield and attack.
One or two notable players we didn't even mention. Well, I think I might mention it, but Jordan Henderson didn't make our side, and a lot of people are going to have him in the team. Riyad Mahrez, another guy, 11 goals and 9 assists. I just got up here. And that's only in 21 starts. May come off the bench a few times, but still.
Well, I think that's the thing as well. Like Mahrez, maybe if he'd had more starts, he might be a contender. But I think it's because he's had less starts. He wasn't really a contender.
Yeah, I don't think Pep really helps his players.
Jordan Henderson. I think if we're saying captains of the season, you know, you're going to put Jordan Henderson in there. But I think players of the season, well, actually, he could be that defensive midfield player if you're going to include one. But I think there have been attacking players who have had better individual seasons. Like, I think he has been a great captain and he is a great player. But there have been players who have had better seasons, which is why I didn't include.
I think I probably have Kovacic from Chelsea over Jordan Henderson in that position, in that, not defensive midfield, just central midfield. Another one, Mason Mount. What a season he's had. Breakthrough season. And Christian Pulisic as well.
Mount's had a great season. Pulisic has had a great season. But honestly, team of the season?
I think they're not too far off. I really don't.
They're not there yet.
I do think Kovacic has been Chelsea's best player, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we will be doing a video at some point predicting our tables in the Premier League for next season. But just now, Doobz, who do you think is going to win it next season?
Liverpool. Although, actually, no, I'll leave it there, but I'll explain my choice.
Well, I've got an inkling towards Chelsea. I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, obviously, they're signing quite a few very good players, Timo Werner and the likes of that. But we'll see anyway. I mean, that video probably won't come until after most transfers have been completed already, because it's kind of hard to predict now. Because for all we know, let's just say, well, it probably won't happen. But let's say Cristiano Ronaldo suddenly joined Man City. It could change a few things with predictions. So that's something that will be coming up. But anyway, thanks for watching this first Iron Stream video. We'll be back with more content, and I think our next video, we got a Premier League quiz coming up where Doobz will be taking on Thomas, who you may or may not know, also known as Nado. So that'll be coming up soon. But thanks for watching. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, and we'll see you in the next video.